Hello, Warrior TV. Steve Knapp here, the Mindset Warrior. Welcome to our latest episode of the Power Hour of Mindfulness. Sorry we're a bit late tonight. My lovely guest was having some difficulties getting on, but we finally made it. We're in the game. And this is someone who's an extremely important guest for me because I know I've mentioned all my issues over the journey and where things came from, and it's all been through my perspective. So tonight I'm going to be joined by my mother, who's going to be able to give us a bit of a look at how things have come about, looking at it from her eyes, not just my opinion. And so we'll dig a bit deeper and see if any of these signs were around earlier than I realised or anything else that's going on. So we'll do a quick countdown and I'll bring her on. We'll see you soon. Hello, Mum. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, and we've got Tessa joining us as well. Tessa's watching too.
Oh, hello, Tessa.
So, yeah, as I was saying, Mum, I thought it'd be good to have you on to give everyone an insight into a bit of how it looks when someone's going through some struggles and issues and what signs you pick up on and what you notice and differences that you've seen in me as I've turned a bit of a corner and got into the coaching space and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So my first question I'd like to know is, did you notice anything in my younger days that might have suggested I was going through any of these struggles, or was it well hidden?
I know it's hard to say really because I think it was probably reasonably hidden, but then when you started with the football, what were you, 16, were you, when you started?
15.
15 when you started with the Blackburn football club, and then of course you started with the drinking there and getting into more partying, I guess. And yeah. I think that probably didn't help much from then on. Because I think once the drinking took over, then I think the attitude and that changed even, more as well. So the attitude wasn't good, but then the attitude wasn't good as a later teenager either, or should I say an earlier teenager, I should say.
Going into it, I'm sure that's all it was.
Yeah, the attitude wasn't overly good. But sorry. I was going to say that I think the drinking definitely didn't help because I think that probably helped to contribute more to depression.
I'd agree with that.
So, I don't know. I think not listening to your mother when she was telling you that you should be cutting back on the drinking.
I was young.
Oh, you were even when you were older.
We've already got a question from Adam. He says, Fran, growing up, did Steve get up to mischief that didn't quit until he got his own way?
He got up to mischief. He got up to mischief quite a bit at different things. I mean, I'm sure as I've always said to Stephen, I've often wondered whether our marriage split up actually contributed to a lot of his attitude and things like that, which probably, I know you keep saying it didn't, but I think it probably did. I think it probably did create a few problems there.
I don't think I actually say that it didn't, but I think what I've said is that it's not an excuse. And it was up to me to deal with those challenges.
But yeah, what mischief did you get up to? What was I thinking? Oh, I always remember that when we had that Christmas do when I was living in Paul Street. We had that Christmas do, and you were out the front throwing stones over the road. What were you then, 12, 13 or something?
Yeah, it was year 7, so I would have been 13.
Yes, and had the neighbour coming over complaining, so you got sent to the bedroom, you and whoever else was there, I can't remember now. And then the next thing I know, yeah, it was, that's right. And next thing you're out there doing it again. So got up to mischief like that sort of stuff. I think a lot of kids get up to anyway. So,
wow, I'd already graffitied the walls of the garage at a much younger age than that.
True, that's true. You had, and the back light of my car, and the light switch, so it didn't show up anymore in the dark.
It's a lesson for parents: don't leave cans of spray paint where your young children can find them and get their hands on them and work out how to use them. It ends in tears.
Yes.
Oh, now Adam wants to know if he can see Steve's baby pictures. Get stuffed, Adam.
There's only one that I could probably show that's handy. That's one of my favourite pictures.
I'm sure I haven't shown you.
I'll show you this one because it's one of my favourites, and you know which one it is. It's on the thing here.
If Tessa said graffitied the walls, my creative side coming out. That was my artistic phase.
I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show this very well.
That's not a baby.
It's not baby. That was about what, 5 or 6?
No,
5 or 6. It was when you were just started school, I think.
More hair on the head, less hair on the face. Not much else has changed.
Yeah, and I can't show you any more baby ones because they're not handy. They're not where I can get my hands on them easily. So there you go. So you've got off that one lightly.
Yeah, got off lightly there.
Yeah.
Going back to when I got into the footy club and the drinking culture and the running amok, where did things go from there in your eyes? Was there a gradual decline or did I plateau?
I'm not sure about. I guess there was a decline, yeah. Because then there was when you left school, and you went out in that first job and brought everybody home. Yeah, the behaviour there wasn't very good. At that stage, behaviour wasn't very good at all. I don't know about signs of. It's hard to say whether like signs of depression when that really started showing. I can't really think when that really started showing to me that there could have been more sort of depression, because I think it was more just the drinking that was more of a worry for me at the time, and I think it was later on, quite a bit later on, that really showed through more of depression and that.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been after, probably a few years after I separated and sold the house, and not that long after, maybe.
Yeah, probably could have been. No, it wasn't that long after. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really show up before that. Not to me, anyway. As I say, it was just more the drinking that worried me more than anything at the time. And the fact that, yeah, obviously you were with your mate, you go out with mates and you'd be drinking more. And especially the fact when you were going up on the roof and everything like that, and you've been drinking. Rather worrying.
Still here to tell the tale. But we've learned from that.
Yes.
We've learned a lot from those days.
Yeah, certainly hope so.
Tessa said it must have been so stressful worrying about him and going out all the time. Yeah, I was out a lot. And it definitely was detrimental. It wasn't serving me, but I think when you're from a space, you don't know what you don't know. And you immerse yourself in these patterns and people and processes, and it digs you out of holes. If You could have a beer to celebrate. You could have a beer to commiserate. You could have a beer to be with a mate, and it ends up becoming synonymous with everything you do.
Yeah.
And, I only broke that cycle when my eldest son stopped playing junior football.
It
was only 5 years ago.
Yeah, but you were still drinking then.
Yeah, but the association of only being able to catch up with mates for a beer and
well, that was a thing that I mean, a lot of people seem to think that they can't go out and enjoy themselves if they're not drinking. And I've told you many times, you may not remember, that you do not have to be drinking to enjoy yourself. You can have a good time and enjoy yourself if you're with good friends and everything, and you can enjoy yourself. But a lot of people, I think it still goes on these days, people seem to think that they can't enjoy themselves. They go and they get fueled up before they go anywhere, so that I mean, obviously not while COVID's on, but although I don't know, I think there's a few people still go meeting up. Yeah, but a lot of people I know, the younger people I know, they go and they drink heaps and heaps, and then they go off out to wherever they're going. I don't know. I don't know how you can enjoy yourself when you're off your face.
Maybe you're looking at it from a different angle. Maybe it's not people thinking they have to drink to enjoy themselves. It's a lack of confidence in being themselves and being accepted and being loved and being worthy in a group, that getting themselves a few drinks under the belt primes their self-confidence and allows them to be a bit less inhibited and feel like they're enjoying the moment rather than suffering anxiety around how they're being portrayed in a group or what people are thinking about them or talking about them.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Although a lot of times when if you're out with your closest friends, you'd think that you would be able to enjoy yourself. But then I suppose you mix with others as well when you're out, don't you?
Yeah, especially if you're going you're in your latter teens, early 20s, and you're going to a party where, you might be with 3 good friends, but there might be 50 or 100 people that you've never met in your life. And I think that can play a part a lot with alcohol in a social setting as well as just for the sake of drinking. I think a lot of the time it is to escape a bit of reality.
Yeah, that's probably a lot to do with it. That you do, if you're not feeling right on that, you sort of think, oh, you'll have a drink, it makes you feel better. It's the same with the drugs, isn't it? They make you think you feel better, so you
don't
in
know.
the long run. I don't know on that one either.
I can comment massively around alcohol, but substances, I can give zero insight. That is the one time in my life where I've been a good boy.
You have indeed, and that's very good. Very glad about that one, because that's a big worry, that one as well. But I think it's the same sort of thing, with the drinking and the same sort of thing. People think that they're not feeling happy or something, so they take that, think maybe feel good for a bit, but it doesn't stay that way for very long.
Yeah, and Tessa said also depends on who you surround yourself with and what they do, because you'd follow to fit in. And that was the same thing when I was getting back to the junior football days. That was a set thing. All of the dads straight after training would meet in the car park, have beers. Then we'd catch up on the weekend, have beers. We'd be in the club rooms every Sunday night having beers. And there was and the ridicule of anyone in the group who didn't follow suit and go with the plan probably forced a lot of people to stick to it more than they would have liked to.
It's always been a weird thing, that, isn't it? If somebody says, "Oh no, I don't drink," oh, why don't you drink? What's wrong with you, sort of thing. And people don't want to drink. They don't want to drink.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you get that stupid stigma. Oh, there must be something wrong with you.
Yeah, especially in Australia, we're probably heavier drinkers than a lot of other people around the world.
I think England catches up pretty well too.
Yeah.
See, when I was growing up, you didn't have so much of the problem with the drinking and that, because you couldn't afford it. So, you'd go out and you'd have 1 or 2 drinks, and that'd be it. But then, of course, later on, after we were out here for a while, that was one of the things that was quite different. Booze was a lot cheaper here. So people, I suppose, drank more. I still didn't, but that's it. That was me. I like to have a glass of wine.
Take some of my share, and I wouldn't have got so heavily involved in it. It could be coming back full circle. It could be entirely your fault that I drank so much because you didn't take enough for me. Didn't take enough drinks.
Well, your dad used to drink when we went out. Yeah. The thing is too, like back then there weren't so many cars on the road either, you know. So if you did have a couple of drinks, I mean, I must admit I'd had a few hair-raising trips home before I got my licence and I started driving everywhere. But there wasn't all the traffic around either. Well, these days it's far more dangerous. Far more dangerous.
Yeah, when there's a police presence. And Kerry's asked, what do you think Steve's biggest achievement is?
I think
the list is so long before you're having trouble picking out just one.
No, we're talking about achievement. I think it's sort of the fact that you finally did realise that you did have the depression and that your drinking wasn't helping. That may not be the sort of achievement he means, but to me, that's
she means.
Oh, sorry, that's a big achievement.
Yeah, that was a huge achievement. That was a milestone, that recognition and understanding and comprehension of where things was at and what was going on, to be able to make some changes, and still far from perfect, but definitely.
Yeah, quite agree with that.
How have you seen the difference in me from even 5 years ago to now, and what I do and my behaviours and actions?
Well, you're definitely a bit calmer, I'd say. Don't kind of fly off the handle quite as much as you might have done previously, which is good. Keep calm. Is that drink tea and keep calm? That's what they say.
Well, yeah, I drink green tea these days. I never would have done that either.
There you go, Sue. That must have something to do with it as well. No, but it's definitely a difference in that sort of behaviour, definitely. And the carrying on, like when you'd had too many to drink and everything like that, you know, some of the things you could get a bit nasty with people and say nasty things to people, and I know a lot of the time you were kind of like a more happy drunk, but other times you'd get quite nasty. So that behaviour is not quite as bad as that used to be, which is very good. Yeah. And I think, well, you've obviously grown up. You're a bit older now, so hopefully, you know, start taking a bit more responsibility for your actions and everything like that.
Yeah,
and that makes
it's above the line.
Yeah. And that's one good thing. I mean, you usually do take responsibility for your actions, which has always been very good. One good thing, you know, you've never gone around telling heaps of lies and things like that. So that's always been one good thing. You're like me. You don't appreciate people that lie.
No, I don't appreciate being lied to, and I don't suffer a fool either. So I don't like being played. I don't like someone that tries to lie for their benefit. None of it really. I just don't see any value in it.
No.
People that lie often aren't very good at it and catch themselves out at a rapid rate.
Yeah, can do, that's for sure. Yeah. So
Kerry's asked now, what have I told you about the Warriors?
What have you told me about the Warriors? That they're a great group of people that help out. You can talk to if you've got problems. You can go and talk to any of you. You're all very helpful. And a lot of you have obviously been through depressions and things, different problems.
All sorts. We tick every box here.
Yeah.
But that's
I guess it's not just depression and that, is it? I mean, there's anxiety and all that sort of stuff that all comes into these sort of things.
There's a million different things. And then Tessa asks, how did you cope with that behaviour and how did you handle him or guide him? I was unhandleable, Tessa.
I think you could say that at one. Yeah, definitely. It was very, very difficult, especially when he used to come home and treat the place like it was just a hotel. Yeah, bed and breakfast type thing. It was very difficult because you weren't particularly inclined to listen to anything for quite a long time. No, you had what your opinion was. That was your opinion, and nobody could tell you anything. And yes, could be very difficult at times.
Not much has changed. No. I'll be more tolerant now.
You might listen a bit more now, I think.
Well, I was listening then. It just didn't suit where I wanted to be.
No, that's very true.
I think that's what a lot of it was. Which, I mean, obviously I'm going through the same thing with my youngest son at the moment. There's, at that age, and when you're a teenager, early 20s, if you're not in a position to be guided or led or receive information, you'll flat out go the opposite way. And the more I've given up trying now, because the more you really try to push something on someone in that space, they're going to just push it further and further in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it doesn't work if you don't want to listen, or don't want to listen. You're not interested in listening. You just and then you get what would you know and all that sort of stuff, And
I was guilty of that. Now that I'm a father myself, I must admit that as a younger person, you don't think your parents have any comprehension of what you're talking about and what you're up to. But now I see that you think I wouldn't have a clue either. Then
generation, I think every generation goes through the same things. I mean, what would your parents know? You forget that we were young once. Many moons ago.
And things change, but it doesn't mean that the behaviours change, really. No. So, lovely. Kerry said, your son is an amazing part of the Warriors. Thank you, Kerry.
That's very good. Oh, it's very good.
And here's Adam just constantly trying to stir up trouble.
Growing
up, did Steve kick off in supermarkets because he wanted something and wouldn't move until he got it?
Actually, when he was little, or when you were little, you were very good, very well behaved.
So I started off well, then became a really bad egg, and now I've come full circle.
Yeah, no. When you were little, you were very good. I don't remember having tantrums in supermarkets or anything like that. I don't remember any of those at all. We were always very, very well behaved when you were little. You were very sweet little boy.
Yep, like I said, full circle. Now I'm just a sweet little man. Sweet little bearded man.
No, you weren't.
And Adam's also asked. Oh yeah, keep going.
No, I was going to say I just don't remember any problems. When the only time that I had a problem in the supermarket was when your father was supposed to be looking after you, and the next thing I see you running out the door of the supermarket into the car park.
Yeah,
that was the only. Yeah, I managed to catch you before you got out on the road. That's the only time I had a problem. So that one was blamed on your father.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh dear. Yes, terrible.
Adam's also asked, what mindset did you have when you found out Steve was on the way?
What mindset? I was extremely happy.
And then I ruined that happiness.
Well, it took a long time to get you. It took 10 years to get you, so I was extremely happy. Very
Well
happy.
worth the wait.
Yeah. Yes. It was well worth the wait, even with the bits in between.
Yes, I must admit, when I say like we're touching on all of the bad times here, but I've got to admit that without having someone like mum that is there to support you no matter what, no matter how you treat them, how terrible things get and what you do, to have that support and know that it's there, even when you're totally pushing it away and not appreciating it, it is still always there and you know it's there. And having mum as my biggest cheerleader through everything has been probably the main reason why I'm still here and why I didn't follow through on a couple of actions a number of years ago, solely because of having that unconditional love and support no matter what. So I think that's something really important to have in your life.
I had a couple of sorry, I'm moving this around. I'm holding my phone in my hand. A couple of those phone calls I've had at, goodness knows what time in the morning, and very, very worrying phone calls. Yes, that was extremely worrying. So as I said to you before, we don't want to go back that way at all. So
No.
Definitely don't want to get through that again.
Yeah. Oh, Kerry says your mum is amazing, Steve, with a love heart. There you go.
Don't know about that.
That's where every ounce of anything good from me comes from, Kerry. We'll blame Dad for all my bad parts.
Yeah. Oh dear, I don't know about that. Can't be all good. Your dad's certainly given you a very good work ethic. You've got the same sort of work ethic that your dad had. You work very hard and you always make sure you want to do a good job, and that's very important as well. Yeah, that's one of them.
That's stuck with me for my whole life, hasn't it? I think that there's a lot of pride in doing something, even if you hate your job. If you give it 100%, 110%, and you make it as best as you possibly can, then there's so much pride to take out of that, and that gets me through my job now. I can't stand being there, but when I'm doing something, I'll make sure I'm doing it better than most people can, just through lack of ethic and intensity.
Yeah, and that's always good for anybody to. That sort of ethics good for everybody to have. It's important.
Definitely. That hasn't flown on genetically to my children 1 ounce. So, yeah, if I got it from Dad, it stopped with me, because my kids have a work ethic of possibly a negative.
Well, we haven't really got. Dylan hasn't really actually started work as such. He does his little job.
Yeah, I mean more like I was mowing all the lawns and stuff at 12, 13, 14. This lot, they're laying staring at a screen while I'm out mowing the lawns every weekend. I tell you.
Yes, yeah, that's not good.
I've got to get better at implementing my will.
That's where I think a lot of problems have come these days too, with the screens and the social media and all that stuff. I don't think that's always terribly healthy for people, and that causes a lot of problems, a lot of health and mental problems. So I think I think we're going to see a lot of mental problems going on into the future.
Definitely, and the more time you spend on a screen, the more likely you're going to come across misinformation, and you're just going to get caught up in crap that's not real, non-existent, and consuming parts of your brain that you could be doing much more fruitful, beneficial things.
Absolutely.
That being said, I'm staring at a screen flat stick myself. I'm also busy at the same time.
Yeah, very true. Yes, you're spending a lot of screen time lately.
Yeah, it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed an earlier question from Tessa asking what was rock bottom for me. Oh, Tessa, I reckon we'd be rolling back around 5 years, maybe 6 years now, not long after I'd moved into this house where I am, I reckon. So probably right around this time, maybe a fraction later in the year, 6 years ago. I think that was my bottom turning point. That was full on drinking out of control. Even though I'd drunk a lot heavier previously, I was just like making a total mess of myself, like a few nights a week on weekends. And and I remember one night I'd gotten that bad that I just wandered straight out into the cars and past our house at 80, 90 Ks an hour and got a little clip on. And I was on the phone to a friend at that stage, and her and her husband ended up driving down from about 15 minutes away to make sure I wasn't doing anything stupid. And I think that was probably the time when I was like, yeah, this isn't right. We're not making sound good decisions here. It's time to move on and make some much better decisions in my life. And that's where, Mum was a big support there and help for me and got me in touch with a doctor, and then that got me in touch with a psychologist. And it was a slow process. He worked a lot around my relationship with alcohol, and got me into moving into drinking light beers rather than heavies, and that made a lot of changes. And I had about 10 sessions with him, and then I found the coaching world, and I've been in that space for the last 3.5, 4 years, and that's obviously as the big turning point there. Getting into coaching, it's not so much the coaching; it's the people you meet and the friendships and the bonds and the conversations you get to have with people when you're struggling at that particular time. It's amazing to have hundreds of people at arm's reach that can help you and guide you through anything. So I think for me personally, that's been a massive game changer. Is like yourself, Tessa, and a couple of our other warriors I'm very close to, Melissa, and so many amazing people that you can never be down for long, because if you reach out, you're going to have 100 people reaching back, helping you out. So it's been an amazing space to be in for me personally.
Yeah, that's good. That has been very good. So I was just thinking about that other time. It would have been about 5 years ago too, when you were drinking that much, and I was talking to you on the phone, and you fell down the front steps. I was talking to you. I can't remember what time of night it was. It was getting pretty late, and I was talking to you on the phone, and the next thing it's and nothing, and you fell down the steps, and the next thing I'm in the car coming down trying to. Yeah, can't remember. Did you go off in the ambulance? I know you didn't. Got the ambulance there.
Yeah,
you did go, didn't you? You did go. That's right. You did. Yeah.
I was pretty banged up.
Yeah.
It's 14 concrete stairs head first.
I think you were very lucky. The fact that you were so drunk was the fact that you probably didn't hurt yourself as much.
Yeah, I was bendy and flexible.
That would have all been around about that same time, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was. There was a culmination.
5 years or so. Yeah.
Culmination of things for months there that that weren't going my way, through no fault of anyone but yours truly. I have to another thing I would have taken total responsibility for. There was no, as much as we like to blame work or partner, kids, whatever, there's never any blame. It's always us. It's always our doing, and there's plenty of other things you can do when you're having a shitty time than write yourself off multiple times a week. I mean, when I was running my own roof tiling business, I was probably having over 200 beers a week, and still up at 6 o'clock in the morning and getting on a roof every single day for 10 hours, do it all over again. And it's only when you look back, you don't realise how dangerous what you're doing is in the moment. But when you turn the clock back and you look back a bit, which I don't like to do, I'm not big on looking backwards. I'm a present man, but sometimes it's good to look back and just take a bit of stock on what you've done and where you've been. And I think that's what keeps me a bit more grounded now when I do, because I still I'm not going to sit here and say I'm sober as a judge. I still have nights where I overdo it and things, especially this lockdown. I've found I've had a couple more than I normally would. Just, I don't know, the mind just hasn't been as strong as I normally pride myself on, and the moments have still come. But now I just don't get caught up in a week of shame and guilt around it. I accept that, yeah, that was a mistake. Let's improve on it, and generally I do. So I'm pretty happy with where that side of things is at these days, for the most part. But
I think when you think about it over the years and that, you've been really, really lucky. You've never been picked up, because you'd have lost your license for goodness knows how many months, I reckon. If you
Sorry
bless
about
you. Bless you.
Hay fever season. I promise that wasn't a COVID sneeze. It's hay fever weather. I mean, I was been very lucky. Not only just to not been picked up, but not to have had any accidents or caused anything serious.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Your thought processes go out the window. You don't even realise what you're doing, or you think you're invincible, you're bulletproof, you've got all this extra strength about you. It's not sound judgment. And I found when I didn't drink for 120 odd days last year, I think one thing I've noticed is you don't have to be drunk. Just having a couple of beers, 2 or 3 beers a night, would be enough to be cloudy the next morning. And it's only when you haven't drunk for a number of weeks that you realise that how much more focused you are and how much better you sleep. And so, I'm going to have to kick into another one of those long 3 or 4 month runs, I think, and see how I come out of it.
I think that's a very good idea. I think that's an extremely good idea. I know the other weekend you had a little bit of a hard one, I think, didn't you? Because when you came up to see me on the Sunday, I think you were still a little bit under the weather.
A little bit. That was tired.
Yeah, tired as well.
Sleep deprivation.
No, it doesn't. I know that only too well at the moment. Yes, I know my sleeping's not too good at the moment. Then I end up going to sleep sort of more or less when it's time to get up. But that's the way things go.
Not good, mother. Got to look after yourself. Cannot be having you making these rash decisions of staying up all night and partying and then sleeping as the sun comes up.
No, I think this last lockdown actually has sort of got to me more, and then I think having the knee operation and that as well, it sort of threw everything out of whack for a few weeks. So, but I think that this lockdown, I think it's getting to me more. I just can't be bothered doing anything. But anyway, if it's not raining tomorrow, I'm going to meet a couple of friends for coffee. So I think it's supposed to be all right in the morning. So that'll be good.
Clearly, even though we only live 15 minutes apart, you're hearing an entirely different weather to report to what I am, because I'm hearing torrential, horrible thunderstorms and rain coming from about 10 o'clock tonight right through tomorrow morning.
Well, they were saying on the news tonight, the 7 o'clock weather, it was supposed to be clearing up in the morning, and then it comes again later tomorrow in showers. So we'll wait and see.
We can only hope.
Yes.
So how do you find that when you're not motivated and you're struggling to get going? What are you trying to do to bring in some changes to flick the switch there a little bit?
Yeah, at the moment nothing, which is not good. I am making sure that I am still doing my exercises for my knee and going for walks and things like that, but I'm finding it difficult to get motivated doing other stuff at the moment. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I should be doing. It's doing it.
Oh, yeah. You remember what I've always told you? Well, not always, but in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Motivation comes from action. Action doesn't come from motivation. You've got to get up in the morning and do that first task of the day so that your body and mind starts feeling good about it and wants to do more. And then you can relax later and go to bed at a proper time and get up early.
I'm still going to bed at a reasonable time, but I'm just not sleeping well. So that's not good. But that'll work its way out. That'll sort itself out soon, hopefully. But,
a bit of meditation.
Yeah.
That'll work.
It will.
So how do you think after, was that thunder?
No, I think it was a motorbike.
No.
Yeah, it's either a motorbike or... Sorry, yeah.
Where do you see me going from here? So we've gone through all of that shit. Well, we didn't go through all of it because that would have taken 4 hours. But we went through all the shit. Now we've seen a little snippet of where things are going. Where do you think I'll be in another 5 or 10 years?
Well, hopefully.
We don't live in a land of hope. I don't have a fairy godmother.
Well, being a bit even more thoughtful about drinking and stuff, and I think if you could you get into, I know you want to get into your coaching and you enjoy the coaching, if you can get on with that and make that, make a good job out of that, helping people, that's going to be good. I think you can probably get to there, I think, in the next few years. You can see that happening. And I don't know, it's sort of, I just want to see you happy, doing what you want to do, doing what you really want to do, and being happy. That's where I see you, or in the next few years.
I'm pretty good at happy. I can do happy well.
Yeah, but you've got to be happy.
I am be happy. I don't do happy. I be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I've got that covered. That's fine. I've definitely got that covered.
Yeah.
Before I forget, Adam's just put a quick reminder in there that at 1 p.m. today, he'll be on with our musical warrior Abigail and the addiction warrior Robin, and they'll be talking about the mindset people have to have when they're going back or into college or university. So there's just a reminder for everyone, that's 1 p.m. UK time, which will be past Uncle Steve's bedtime in State Victoria at 11 p.m. But just a quick reminder that's coming up later on today.
I have to watch it later.
Yes.
Yes. So won't be watching at 11 o'clock tonight, that's for sure.
No. And I suppose, Mum, being a grandmother, is there any traits you're seeing in the grandchildren that are concerning around their mental health and where they're headed, especially during the pandemic? Do you want to tell people that you're live and to bugger off ringing? How bloody rude!
No, it's one of the, it's this number that keeps calling over and over and over, and it's one of these, don't know numbers. They're just annoying. They keep calling and calling and calling, and it goes through to the answering machine. Oh dear. Yes, we're talking about traits with the obviously young Andrew's a real worry at the moment with his behaviour and everything. Yeah, he's definitely a worry, because it's I think you're going to have problems. I mean, you didn't have the same sort of problems as he's having at the moment. I mean, he's much worse, but he's not listening either, so he won't listen to anything. He's got to somehow get his head around what he's doing and realise he needs to smarten up, so to say. Dylan, I think, is going okay at the moment.
He's okay.
The girls, Well, they've got their problems to sort through as well, I guess. I think
Yes.
it's going to do Jade good to get back to school, because I think she's struggling with schoolwork being at home. She needs to get back to school and start learning properly.
Definitely. There's a lot of challenges coming through from these kids, and unfortunately, a lot of the challenges they're embracing a little bit too much. They're loving sitting on their asses all day and night chatting to people without going anywhere. And it's not good for them, missing out on that face-to-face reality and conversation and the learning. To have missed, to be in your second year of high school and only been for a couple of terms out of, well, we're into our eighth, should have been our eighth term of high school, and she's only been to really two. It's going to have long-term dramatic effects on these kids, I think.
Yeah, I think it will too, because I know she was saying the other day that she's just sort of struggling. She doesn't understand this and that, and the teachers don't get back quick enough when you ask a question. So she definitely needs to get back into school, start learning properly. I guess the same really goes with Dylan with uni. I mean, the uni hasn't been working properly either, has it? So
not that that's affected him at all. I think the good lesson there is if you're wanted enough, you're going to do it.
Yes, probably. That's very true. But I think there's going to be an awful lot of problems with a lot of these kids once we get back to a so-called normal. Once they get back to school and everything, I think there's going to be, quite a few problems with them trying to get back on track. They've been away too long. They've been away far too long, and they've got to try and get back into this learning business. So I think, I think definitely going to have a few problems.
Yeah, well, they're only going to get about a month back this year, and they'll be on holidays for 7 weeks.
That's right. I know.
Cancel the holidays. Give them a week off. Get them schooling.
Yeah, that's what I would
make up time.
They've had their holiday. Trouble is the teachers won't agree with that, because the teachers have still been working. So they'll want their holiday. So you can't do anything about that. No,
it's not good.
No, it's not good. I think it's going to be very difficult.
Adam's asked how you're coping with lockdown. You touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, not too good at the moment, I must admit. Finding it very difficult to, just the fact that you're stuck here. You might see your neighbours occasionally, but now, as I say, now we can go that little bit further. I can meet up with people, but you're only supposed to meet up for what, I don't know, 5 people or something, isn't it? I think we're outside.
If you're double jabbed.
Yeah. Well, we're all double jabbed, so that's all right. That reminds me, I've still got to do that thing to get my certificate. I still haven't got all that sorted out. But no, apart from that, I think it's very difficult too. Once you've been locked up, all these months that we've been locked up, we've only been out a month or so at a time, haven't we? Then we've been locked down again. You get to the stage of not even wanting to bother anymore. You think, oh, have I really got to go out? And I think that gets you. That's what I was saying to you the other day, Stephen. I think people that are still working, sort of going out to work, are the lucky ones, because they've still got some sort of routine to their lives.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to get up and have a shower and a shave and get dressed and leave the house.
Yeah. And yet, when you're stuck on your own all these months and months and months, you do get to the stage you think, oh, have I really got to bother? Have I really got to go out? Have I really got to get dressed up and do this? And it gets you down a bit after a while. And when you think about it, I mean, what they say, how many days have we been in lockdown? Almost a year, I reckon, isn't it? I think when you add it all up.
No, it's gone past 250 days now, though.
Yeah.
It feels like 5 years.
It feels like a long time. It really feels like a very long time.
But I think the hardest part about this one is there was an expectation at the start that it was never going to be a 7-day lockdown. I think a lot of us, with where some of the cases were, knew that this was going to be extended. And I think that in a poor headspace leading into it. Whereas other ones, we sort of went, yeah, there's not really much going on. We should be able to get out of this in a week or two. Whereas this one, we went, something doesn't feel right. This isn't going to be good. Here we are 11, 12 weeks later. And you can't have any faith that once we hit the vaccination rates and we open up that we won't be locked down again in this state. It's every likelihood it's going to happen over and over again. So not much we can do about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they keep saying that, once we get this 80% double vax and get more and more, then, we shouldn't have to lock down again, but who knows?
They've said a lot of things. It's in April 2020, Daniel Andrews, our great, mighty, awesome Premier, said that he was funding 4,000 ICU beds so that we would not have problems in the future, and he'd put $1.4 billion aside. 18 months later, nothing has changed. Don't believe a word they say. There's my message for you. They're all full of shit.
Yeah. I think you go along with all of them. They're all the same.
Yep.
All the same.
If politicians were people, the world would be a different place. But they're not. They're for their pockets.
Yeah. I think that's probably very right. They're not worried about, well, I know they keep on about the mental health and all that sort of stuff and putting extra money in for mental health, but I don't really see what they're doing to help a lot of people. If people need
the money
to go
they're putting into mental health is less than what the lockdown's costing the city on a daily basis. So
I think
all we've got to do is work on our own thoughts and processes, and I know I've touched on it here before, is just work on what we can do around the lockdown, find the benefits of there's goodness in all of it. And that's all you need to do is just find the goodness, something. Well, if that means that you've got more peace and quiet for a while, bonus. If you're getting a better run to work, bonus. There's always a silver lining to something if you're looking for the silver lining. That's the secret.
Yeah. Well, my silver lining is going for a walk down and seeing the cows.
We have very similar joys there. You go down to the cows. I go around the corner to the farm with the pig and the alpacas and the goats and the cows there.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like. Just being able to go out and see the wildlife around the place. That's always good. Always helpful.
We've got a last question from Adam as well. He says, Fran, what nickname did you give Steve growing up which he used to love? I highly doubt there was any that I used to love, but I'm sure there was a couple you used to love, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember any.
No, I don't think I ever gave you any nicknames.
No, I only remember getting Stephen Ross when I was in trouble. That's the only one I remember. When the middle name comes out, you know you've overcrossed the mark.
Yeah, that'd probably be it. But I don't think I ever had any nicknames. No nicknames.
No.
Yeah, it's just when
all schoolmates.
Yeah. Oh, what did you from school? No, do you get Nappy or? Yeah.
Napster.
A Napster, yeah. I used to get Napster at work. But no, I don't remember any nicknames that I ever gave you at all. So just schoolmates and things, yeah. Yes.
A lot of them still do, and the footy club. Most of them still call me Nappy as well. So a lot hasn't changed over 40 odd years.
Yes. Amazing, isn't it?
Adam wants me to put my glasses on. They're not here, Adam. They're not in my office. I can't put them on. And I told you I only need them for reading. Oh, now he's called me Stephen Ross. This bloke, I tell you, he's a bully. Absolute bully. He's no good for my mental health. He's targeting me every single time I come on. No. And Tessa said there's nothing better than getting out in nature and seeing the wildlife.
Yeah.
Tessa's another one that loves to get out on a walk into nature most days of the week.
Yeah, it's really good. And look at all the little fairy wrens and that are out again now too. They're very, very nice to look at. Very cute.
Oh, now Kerry's gotten into me with a Stephen Ross saying no politics on Warrior TV. That wasn't really politics. That was just a statement about mentioning money and then not following through. It wasn't political at all. It's just basic accounting. I like to follow up on numbers.
Yes, dear. That's one thing you were good at, was numbers.
I was good at helping other people pass accounting and economics and stuff, and then not doing the work myself and failing.
Yes, that was one. That was one of the things when you wouldn't listen to anything you were told. You had 2 assignments you had to put in, and that was all. Just had to put these 2 assignments in. Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm not going to do it.
They hadn't told me that was all I needed. That was just for English.
No, I told you because they phoned up and said just get him to put these 2 assignments in. And no, I can't be bothered. So you failed. You failed. Yeah, so you should listen to your mother.
Well, that's been the theme of the last hour, hasn't it? Listen to your mother. That can be our new mantra in the mental health warriors. Listen to your mother. You'll come out okay.
Don't know about that, but
better than I was going anyway.
Yeah. No, well, you got.
But I think
you're getting there. You're getting there, and that's the main thing.
Oh, I think we're open to a bit of abundance in the coming years, and I think it's going to be a pretty good little run we're going to have. I mean, if this hasn't built resilience in us, then we're going to be pretty broken at the end. If you don't come out of this stronger, then I hate to tell you, you're not going.
That's the thing, and it should be. I don't know. Should be helping people, build up a bit of resilience. Really,
that's the secret. Just grow stronger and reach out to people. You might not be able to see them face to face, but everyone's got a phone, got video phones. You can Skype, Zoom, StreamYard, call, video call. There's no excuses to be isolated. You got all the chances in the world. If this had happened 25 years ago,
yeah, it would have been quite different.
But we wouldn't have known so much about it, so we probably wouldn't have had any lockdowns. But anyway,
Well, you don't know. You would have had phones. You would have just had to phone each other, but that would have been more difficult for overseas, of course, back then. A bit expensive back then to phone overseas. So.
Yes. Not like now where you can jump on Messenger and talk to the UK without spending a cent.
Yes. Very, very good. Much better now.
All right, to wrap us up, Mum, do you have any final words of wisdom for me?
Listen to your mother.
All right, that's a theme. We'll stick with that then. That'll work.
Oh, dear.
Thanks so much for coming on.
It's
Appreciate you giving up an hour of your night to dump me in it and share all my dirty secrets.
Didn't dump you in too much.
No, you were good. And to everyone that's tuned in and watches us on the replay, thanks so much. I hope you got a little bit more of an insight about who I am and where I've come from and where I'm headed. I think that was, the main crux of having Mum come on tonight and share a bit of who I am from a different perspective than how I see things. So, and we'll finish off with Tessa's comment. I love it. Listen to your mother. And that's our theme for the night. Listen to your mother. Thanks so much, Mum. Thanks everyone on watching and on the replay. And I will be back on Friday night with Arnie Shazza, the Emoji Warrior, and Lillian Reiki. Looking forward to it. We'll be talking all things parenting. So I'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.